Get off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pei.
And welcome. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News, CNBC News, NBC Sports Radio Station, AM 1050, FM 106.5, home to the Asian Oprah, number one talk in the IE. Thank you very much. And streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, iTunes, TuneIn, Audible, Amazon Music, T-Live, Rumble, Podchaser, Streaker, Speaker, and more. Why so many places? Well, I want to maximize my splatter zone for more hope and happiness. So there's no gossip here, no scandal, no K-words, no Kardashian talk, and no headlines. What? No headlines? Yeah, if you wanted headlines, or if you want headlines, I would be sorry to see you go. But there's every other place has headlines except here, because I don't want to give you a case of the 4 A's. After listening to the headlines, angry, anxious, afraid, and aggravated. Don't want you to start the day that way. I'm so grateful that for 722 consecutive weeks, people know to come here if they want to start their day learning something new, laughing, smiling, joking around, and being serious. So that's why I've been here for 1,582 podcast shows. Y'all know you can get that at my Show Central, my YouTube TV channel. Free subscribe. Give me the finger. This one, not the other one. And you will get all of those shows along with Red Carpet Playlist, interviews with Halle Berry, John Travolta, and more. But, you know, today is the middle of the week when we go on steroids for the hope and happiness with my fabulous Wednesday co-host. Her name is Dr. Tiffanie Tate. She's a U.S. Navy veteran, published author, retired OBGyn from Compton, California. She's a playwright, singer, poet, songwriter, and much more. A published author of many books, including many children's books. I keep saying I got to update this, and then I keep forgetting. But my favorite is Bad Touching, because it helps parents talk to kids about things that may not be easy to talk about, but she makes it very easy. Her new hat that's being thrown in the political arena is running for Congress. So please welcome back to my studio, Dr. Tiffanie Tate.
Happy Wednesday, everybody. Let's have fun with doctors in the house. Happy hump day.
I didn't say straight talk. I did say doctor.
I know, you did good.
And we're going to start the way we always do. I see eyeballs rolling in. Welcome. If you'd like to chat, if you're driving and listening to me at the drive time 8 a.m. slot on AM, FM, please do not chat. Wait till you get somewhere and then come and join us on my YouTube TV channel. So here we go. We have breakfast, which is taking a bite of my gratitude sandwich. Top of the bun is looking around us, outside of us. What are we grateful for? And then tonight, before you go to bed, we want to model for you what you're going to do as you fall asleep. Bottom of the bun is what gratitude turned inwards, also known as appreciation. What do you like about yourself? So, Dr. Tiffanie, why don't you start us off with the top of the bun? What are you grateful for?
Well, we know that big blizzard hit New York and New Jersey area, and I am grateful for heaters because my son was able to stay warm and not turn into a popsicle.
I did hear of that stuff. I am grateful that I'm on the other side of my temporary not good health. I don't get sick often, which is really, I'm very grateful for that. But as you can hear, I'm getting in touch with my inner male. It was much worse on Mental Health Matters Mondays. So I'm on the other side of it now. And I'm grateful that most of the time I'm in good health. What else are you grateful for?
I am grateful that I had a trip this weekend, but before I took my trip, people loved my peach cobbler so much that they asked me to bake before I left. They said, "It's okay that
Where's
you're
my
leaving." They wanted me to make them 2 big peach cobblers, and I did. I didn't mind doing it because I believe that putting a smile on people's faces to make them thankful and appreciate my absence. So I was there spiritually and literally physically in the form of a peach cobbler.
I'm not happy I didn't get any, but that's okay. Scott Durango, welcome to the show. Good morning to you as well.
Good morning, Scott.
We do love our I love streamers. That's what I say at Agape, but my cashew gallery is what I call it here. And feel free to have breakfast with us and put your gratitudes in the chat. I'm grateful for clean underwear every day. I mean, that doesn't sound great, but I want to start saying things that we maybe don't think about and take for granted that are just something I'm so grateful that I have a plethora of choices in the morning for that and deodorant. I'm going to put that down too. So those are 2 new ones. And I'm going to start doing that so that it's not the same thing, because I love creativity and I also love being grateful for things that maybe we take for granted. All right. Did you want to do another one?
Oh, yeah, I'll give one more. And I'm
Okay.
actually grateful for the rain because growing up, we've always had a drought. And I think this is the first time that we're not like in a drought.
Uh,
So I'm actually grateful for the rain.
that's great. I am. Let's go to the bottom of the button, which is, what do you like about yourself? And this is important because it's weightlifting for your own mental health, taking responsibility for your mental health. There are some things that maybe you can't control, but you can control how you think about yourself. And that, I believe, it's my BS belief system, that that's the foundation of good mental health. But a lot of us go to bed and we think about, oh, I didn't do that, or I forgot to do this, or we had well-meaning parents who said, you're not all that, don't toot your own horn. And so a lot of us, especially the younger generation, are walking around looking for likes, literally in all the wrong places, or love in all the wrong places. So I want you to practice uh, being cognizant and purposeful around who you are in the most positive way. So I will say I am appreciative of my ability to like my Chinese roots. So as you can see, I have another Qipao on because there's a Chinese New Year mahjong event tonight that I'm super excited about going to. Mahjong Underground, shout out to you. We celebrate for 15 days. So even though the Chinese New Year was actually on the 17th or 19th, anyways, it was February, Lunar New Year, we have 15 days to wear cheaphouse or celebrate. And the reason why I say I appreciate myself, I didn't always like being Chinese. In fact, I got teased badly. Chinese, Japanese, dirty knees. Look at these. I was a heavy Chinese. They called me chunk. Not very nice. And so I would pretend that I was someone else. People would say, "Oh, are you Hawaiian?" I go, "Mhm." So yeah, I did not like being Chinese. So I appreciate that I am embracing my Chinese roots.
Well, happy Chinese New Year's and happy Ramadan as well. And I like the fact that I can respect and appreciate other cultures. I think I was actually talking to someone and I I think I did my ancestry, and I think I'm like 2 or 3% Chinese. And I was like,
Really?
yes, yes.
Oh, no wonder.
And when you do your ancestry, you find out all these different percentages. Embrace your roots, people. Embrace them. But I think it's important to be able to appreciate and respect other cultures. And I like the fact that I can do that. I can be true to myself and still appreciate other cultures. And I think that's important.
Fantastic. I think we are good, right? This
Mhm,
morning. Yeah.
mhm.
We had a nice little breakfast. Hopefully you will join me every weekday morning for this good life habit, hashtag Blisscipline. You don't have to do it with me, but as long as you do it, they say what, 21 days or 28 days for a good life habit. So just try it. And I promise you that if you take a bite of my gratitude sandwich every day, you will sandwich your day in the most positive way. Thanks for joining us for breakfast. And now, even though I don't like this topic for the day, Dr. Tiffany, what is the topic that you chose for today?
You see, I'm leaning in because this is serious, people. Apologies. It's something that can be painful for some, really a slip of the tongue for others, but something that is necessary for everyone at some point in time.
If you say so. It's not in my dictionary, like patience, the P word. Why do I have to apologize? What? No, wait. Let me do it in the way I always hear this and say it. Why do I have to apologize? They started it. Does that sound familiar? And I thought that love means you never have to say you're sorry. Isn't that a song? So like whatever.
Mhm. Yeah, all spare in love and war, right?
Yeah. No, isn't there isn't it love means I'm going to have to look it up. There's a song that says love means never having to say it. I'm sure of it. I didn't make this shiitake up. Okay, go ahead. Why did you pick this topic?
Well, there has been so much going on in the world, but most recently this weekend, and I know you don't follow the news, are you familiar with the actor Michael B. Jordan?
Yes.
Okay. Well, he was at an award show overseas, and I'm not going to use any names or anything like that, but he was at an award show and he was on stage, and he's in the movie Sinners, and
Yes.
he was presenting at an award show, and he was called the N-word. Yes, basically. And
What?
yes, let me finish the story. Let me finish the story. And that wasn't, I mean, that was problematic. The issue is that the show aired 2 hours later. And that's still not the problem. The problem is that um, that word was yelled out by somebody who had Tourette's. That's still not the problem. That's still not the problem. We're getting to the problem. But Free Palestine was also yelled out. That was edited out. Free Palestine was edited out, but the N-word was not. So if they took the time to edit out Free Palestine, but not the N-word, that's the problem.
Got
So
it.
if you can take the time to edit out Free Palestine, but you cannot take the time to edit out the N-word, you see the problem there?
Oh yeah, there were multiple problems.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And so then they gave an apology,
Who
and
gave the apology?
the network.
Okay.
And it was like, if it was the nature of the apology. Like,
It
if this
wasn't
of
really
and
apology.
and it was the structure of the apology, like if this offends you, all these ifs and thens. And so then I decided to break down apologies in relationships, because
Ah,
there were all these conditional words.
mm,
So I'm not even looking at the network. I'm looking at apologies in general. And I'm
mm,
not even looking at the N word. I'm looking at apologies. I'm
mm.
not looking at racism. I'm looking at apologies, because we're not even going there. I
Uh,
just wanted to look at apologies, because I figured, okay, let's just focus on apologies, because all of that's racial, that's political. We're not going there.
that's right. That's
Because
sort of a headline, but
yes.
I understand why you introduced it.
Yeah, I was just like, so
Yeah.
let's look at apologies. So I looked at apologies, because
Okay, hold on 1
apologies.
second.
Okay.
Hi, Latin. This is the listener who I'm pretty sure was Northern Nigeria. So you can validate that. I wanted to make sure we said hello because
Hello.
he's got his peace sign up. Love it. So
Welcome back to the show.
yeah, yeah. So
Mhm.
good topic. Even though I may not resemble that word or know what it means, I'm glad that you're here to dissect. What is it? Slap it.
Smack it, flip it up, turn it upside down, and rub it down.
No, there we go. Would love your thoughts, your 8 cents worth. All those who are listening now, not later, because we won't see your comments, but what your experiences with apologies, what's difficult, what's easy. If you are like me and don't even know what the word is, so that's what today's show is about. Okay, go.
Mhm. So I looked at apologies, and the average person apologizes about 8 to 10 times per day based on research. And it suggests that it's often for minor or unavoidable or non-fault incidences.
Huh.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Eight
I
to
was
10, that's high.
that's very high.
That's very high, and it is northern Uganda. I'm glad that you, corrected me. I think I said northern Nigeria, but, from Gulu City.
Mhm.
All right, cool.
Mhm.
That's a high statistic. I'm kinda surprised.
Mhm. Mhm.
And what
And
are the
it's
minor things?
well, and it says that some of the things are like, uh, the things are like, I'm sorry I'm late. I'm sorry I've been so needy. So a lot of little things like that. If people bump into you or you
Right,
bump into somebody,
step on your toe.
yes. Or you close the door on somebody accidentally, really insignificant things, but oh my goodness. So
Yeah,
they're really incidental, accidental things.
but needy? I'm sorry I've been so needy. That's
Like,
not accidental.
if you're talking
That
to a friend, or you need to talk to somebody, or you interrupt somebody, interrelational things, like with your friends, your significant or insignificant other, how
okay,
you perceived.
okay, okay,
And so these are little minor things like that.
okay.
And it was interesting, because research suggests that women tend to apologize more frequently than men.
Okay, so I have a confession to make. I actually do apologize. I know it doesn't seem like I do, but I actually do apologize. However, I over apologize. And this happens all the time when someone steps on my toe or backs up into me. I say, I'm sorry. And I'll
Mhm.
stop myself and say under my breath, why am I saying sorry?
Yes.
You backed into me. You stepped,
Mhm.
you jostled me. Why do I do that? And it drives me crazy. Or
Mhm.
when I was on the tennis team in high school or playing tennis with anybody, right? They'll miss or I'll miss or something happens and I'm constantly going, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, which is like people will say, Quit saying you're sorry," because it's
Mhm.
just like this automatic. I hate that about myself. So I think that's why I went the other extreme and say, I just don't do it. Right. It's not that I don't do it, but I don't have that word. Right. Because I've
Yes.
met people who say, I don't apologize. And I'm like, Really? And how many friends do you have? Right? Because there are people like that. I just do not apologize. There's,
But you know what? You are within the normal range, because about 43% of people, based on the statistic, regularly apologize for things outside of their control.
wow. Okay.
Mhm.
I don't know if I like being in that. But is it because we as because you said it was a gender difference, most women or women do it more. Is it because it's genetic? Is it because we're raised that way? Did it say anything about that?
They didn't really talk about the why, which I was
Mm.
trying to figure out why we do it. But it seems to be, I think it has to do with the way we're raised, because, your parents always say, well, say you're sorry. And that's how we're taught to apologize.
I think that's pretty accurate. I did look it up. Let's just have this quick look here. Because it is cultural. I can remember, now say you're sorry, but you don't hear that as much with little boys,
Hmm.
right? Like it's like don't let anybody have the last shot, right?
Absolutely.
So, research indicates that women apologize more frequently because they have a lower threshold for what constitutes bad behavior or an offense that requires an apology. While common perception is that women are simply more apologetic or submissive, studies show that both men and women apologize at similar rates for actions they believe are offensive. That's interesting. That's really interesting. So like interrupting for a guy talking to a guy may not be something to apologize for, but for us, I get that threshold is lower. You just don't do that.
Hmm.
Now we get accused of being more sensitive for that, and I will have to say I used to bristle when people would say, "You're so sensitive." And now I take it as a compliment because sensitivity is 100% correlated with creativity. Scott Durango, interesting. Self esteem issues. So, why women apologize more? Possible. I, do women have less? Are you saying women have less self esteem than men do on average? A gender difference? Let me clarify that before I look it up. So he'll respond to that. But go ahead, Dr. Tiffany.
Well, a lot of times people want to apologize to express remorse or acknowledge a wrongdoing, um, and to have harmony in the relationship, because they feel some type of remorse, because, or they have empathy for something that they've done. But there should be some type of sincerity or genuine
Mhm,
regret.
mhm.
But um, if you look back at some of the songs that have been made, whether you look at Beyonce or Demi Lovato, Sorry Not Sorry,
Uh-huh. Yeah,
they have some twist on that, to saying, well, haha, just kidding.
yeah, yeah. Sorry, not sorry. I say that all the time when I'm playing mahjong. Like if I do something and they suffer for it, I go sorry, not sorry. So
Mhm.
here's the song I was talking about before. Love means never having to say you're sorry. A famous, often debated phrase from the movie Love Story. It implies that true unconditional love transcends the need for apologies as partners accept each other completely. However, critics argue this idea is unrealistic. The healthy relationships require accountability and apologies. I would agree. I definitely would agree with that. Do you remember that movie?
And this is which movie?
Where do I begin to tell the story of the love? Nope,
Mm-mm.
love story. Oh well. But so I've been told to, I wanted to address sorry doesn't cut it. That expression for the millennials or the Gen Zs, if you've never heard of that, it is an ageless expression. I don't know if you've said that to your kids. I used to say it often because they would say sorry for the same thing with no real remorse or remorse without sirens telling the truth, remorse without change in behavior.
Mm-hmm.
So in order to, I love when that happens. So every time you hear sirens, whatever was being talked about in the show is the absolute exclamation mark truth. So there is something about meaningless apologies.
Mm-hmm.
Did you
Absolutely.
find anything on that?
Well, I think one of the things we have to look at, we were talking about psychological behaviors, and you can see sometimes people have over apologizing, where they're constantly saying that they're sorry because it stems from fear of being a burden or anxiety. And then you have the low self-esteem where people are apologizing to avoid being seen as too much or masking their feelings. And then you have the defense mechanism. And so where there's a potential mechanism of or potential criticism or yelling. And so you want to make sure that you have a good apology. And then I think when it looks at why they are apologizing, you want to make sure that you are being focused on the rationale and why they're doing it. Because remember, we had the predication of it. I think it was the fallout of the situation. And was it sincere? And I think there was a complete lack of sincerity in that situation because they could have edited it out, but they opted not to. And I think there was a complete lack of sincerity in that situation. And then when you look at romantic relationships, familial relationships, and relationships within friendships, you have to look at how you approach your apologies.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Scott is clarifying for me that comment earlier. Anyone over apologizing, male or female, just wondering if it might be tied into self esteem or I'm sorry consciousness. Great point. It's funny when I first read that, I thought you were apologizing. I'm sorry. um, I have to say, I am engendered. I feel closer to people who will apologize and own up to their side of the street. And as much as I joke around about that, I may not like it. That's why I try not to say anything that is a knee jerk reaction because I know one, I'm going to look like a jerk. Two, the more angry you are, the more IQ points you lose. That's actually a study. And then number three, you cannot unring a bell. So even if you apologize sincerely, whatever was said that was offensive is going to stay there. And I'll be the first bad example of this. I avoid people who 10 years ago said something offensive to me, and they're not the same person probably, but I don't want to put myself in front to have that, because it was painful at the time. They don't even know. But that's not fair for me. But until I don't have enough people around me that I actually enjoy, I wouldn't put them in my first tier of go-to people, right? Because I can't unring that bell of what they said or what they did. I don't think that I'm well, this is where I say I can't be unconditionally loving. I wish I could, but I can't. And so my big brother, Michael Bernard Beckwith, he's really good at loving pretty much everybody. And I'll say, because that'll be his thing to me, nudge, nudge, love, love, love. And I'll say, You can love them for me. Or I'll say,
Yeah.
God love them because I just can't right now. So, this is why it's so important to one, sincerely apologize, which means a change in behavior in my definition. And two, just because you apologize doesn't mean that you can undo everything.
Well, I think after the break, we can talk about Ohio State's Department of Psychology 6 components of a sincere apology.
Ooh, that's the solution. That's what Dr. Tiffanie does the best. We did good this today. Up to the break, I love to put the moose on the table, which is my Canadian version of talking about the elephants in the room, about apologies. When we come back after a pause for news, weather, and traffic on my NBC News Radio, KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind channel, we will be back with more solution on apologizing. Don't go away. We'll be right back in 2 and 2.
Well, she has been dubbed the Asian Oprah, and she just wants all of us to be happy.
Dr. Marissa, aka the Asian Oprah, says the most important thing you can choose is choosing to be happy.
You are tuned into my weekly talk radio TV show called Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa.
That's the idea for Dr. Marissa Pei's new book called 8 Ways to Be Happy.
Many of us say, I am my own worst critic. Nobody's harder on me than I am. And my response to that is, stop it! Why are you doing that to yourself? You have to be your biggest fan, because if you can't at the end of the day say, I did a good job, who is? We don't have to constantly be angry at the things that are wrong. Why don't we choose to be happy about things that are right? We have the choice. That's our muscle. And life is so amazing if we can see it.
Hello, my name is Dr. Tiffanie Tate. I'm a veteran officer of the United States Navy and board-certified OBGYN, and I'm running for California State Senate in District 32. Citizens should not have to choose between health care and putting food on the table. Elect me. I will help make healthcare more affordable. And visit my website at votedrtate.com. Learn more about me. Support me so that I can support you. Please visit my website at votedrtate.com. Learn that I am a board-certified OBGYN, author, podcaster, and I will help make your family better, your lives better, and elect me to California State Senate, paid for by Dr. Tate for Senate.
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pei.
And we're back. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News Radio, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and home to the Asian Oprah, number one talk in the IE. Thank you very much. Streaming everywhere, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and of course, my YouTube TV channel, which houses all 1,582 podcast shows over the past 722 consecutive weeks with 4.7 million impressions. But who's counting? So happy to have you today for our very special series called doctors in the house with myself and
Dr. Tiffanie Tate.
welcome back, Dr. Tiffanie. We're talking about
Apologies.
yes, that A word. I've got P words, C words, and now A words. And you gave us a teaser. There's some solution. What makes a good, a true apology? I believe there was 7 components. Take it away.
This. So, according to researchers at Ohio State University, there are 6 key components of an effective apology. And these are ranked by order of importance. Okay. So, first, they should express regret. So, saying, I'm sorry, or I feel terrible for the action, that should be really sincere.
With no sarcasm. I'm sorry.
Right. That's very important. And then second, there should be an explanation of what went wrong, clarifying the context, and avoid excuses in the process.
There's a big word. If you use it with your apology, it erases all the apology. And you know what that 3-letter word is?
Mm-hmm. B-U-T. But
that's it. That's it. The assets.
Yeah. Very important.
But
because it nullifies everything that they said before it. Very crucial. And then acknowledgement of responsibility, admitting the mistake was your fault, taking ownership. That's the most important element.
Yeah, that's not easy because nobody wants to look bad. I think part of our culture is that way. As an organizational psychologist, it's really difficult to talk about trust and respect in the workplace because you are told and trained to sweep problems under the rug. And the best story I have about this is a guy made a decision. He was a VP and he lost $2 million with that decision. And he went expecting to be fired, went to the CEO's office, and he was ready to hand in his resignation. And the CEO looked at him. He says, "Why would I fire you? I just spent $2 million educating you." So I love that story. I don't even know if it's true, but I love that story because that's a real learning organization, which is what I consult in. So
Then there should be a declaration of repentance, like committing to not repeating the action in the future, like that behavior of change, committing to change. Oh, okay. I thought you were going to comment.
No, I'm debating because I don't want to derail your list.
Oh, okay. Then an offer to repair. So proposing a way to fix the damage. So a lot of times you say, okay, I know I did this, and this is what I can do better in the future. And always coming up with a plan. Or even you can negotiate with the person. Okay, this is what I did, and this is what I can do better. And it's okay if you don't know. Maybe you guys can work it out. Maybe you could talk it out. And I think it's about communication because communication is key. And then request for forgiveness. It's okay to hurt someone. If you know that you did it, acknowledge it and say, okay, it's okay. My bad. I'm sorry I did it. My apologies. I ask for your pardon, and can you consider this? At least we can move past this. And I think it's a way to acknowledge that you did hurt someone.
Yeah. So I will say 2 things. One is, if you're a person that gets offended easily all the time, my advice and recommendation to you is you can spend your entire life being offended by everyone, or you can choose. I mean, that doesn't make you happy. So this is for you, not for them. I'm not saying let everybody off the hook, but I am saying to make yourself a little happier, you might want to look at the intent and the impact. So it hit you wrong, but was their intent to purposely make you feel bad? And a lot of the time, this is where this is the unintentional, right? If something is unintentional, let's give people the benefit of the doubt that they didn't
Mhm.
do that on purpose. Now, for your example, I don't know if we can do that with the broadcast because they did delete, you know, the Palestine part, but not the N word. So I don't know if that is a good example of that. But like when people say something silly to me about, Oriental versus Asian, or, oh, don't, I'm not a racist. I eat Chinese food and I have Chinese friends. Like I I could be like, uh, but I go, okay, what's the motivation for them saying that is actually to connect with me. So I have to look at the intent, and then
Mhm.
so look at the motive. And then the other thing I forgot, so I'll say that later.
Yeah, and I think you have to really focus on, is this about shame versus guilt? Are they trying to own their mistakes? And make sure you're able to have a courageous conversation that's engaging and investigatory to figure out what is the purpose behind the action.
Mhm,
And is it for growth or is it to attack you?
mhm, mhm. That's a good point. I remembered. The thing that you are always harping on with your significant or insignificant other or family, is it, I use INTBOAD. It's not that big of a deal if they don't close the cupboards. That's just their thing. That's just their thing. And no matter how many times you yell at them, no matter how many times you remind them, no matter how many times, that's just their thing. And so you can spend the rest of your life being pissed offedness about that, or you can just go, "Oh, it's not that big of a deal. I'll just close the cupboard." Because this is why are you laughing, Dr.
I'm
Tiffany?
I'm laughing because when Nathaniel and Mia do that, I call them ghosts, and I say only ghosts walk through the house and leave the cupboards open. And I'm like, "Are my little ghosts around? Can you guys close the cupboards?"
And this is the thing, it's like, if you can laugh about it, great. But when I do relationship coaching and I ask usually the woman, "Are you 80% happy with him?" And she'll say, "Yes, yes, 80%." But then she'll spend the next half an hour complaining and being angry about the 20% that's just him, like leaving the toilet seat up. If you loved me, you would, that's just his thing. It's not in his, is it that big of a deal? See, sirens, again, this is an important point. What's more important, that he puts the toilet seat down, or that you can have a, oh, go spin in the bathroom?
Mhm,
Like there's a way to have a lot more fun in your relationships than you think if you know, lower your threshold, right? On what
mhm.
is offensive and what is not.
Absolutely, and I know it's easier for me to joke and laugh than to get upset because stress kills.
Right.
And I'm not trying to die over an open cabinet or a toilet seat up or something. I mean, it's all fun and games until you fall in the toilet and your butt's wet. But
Well,
but
I mean, that could be, something to negotiate around and say, these are a list of things that drive me crazy. I do this with couples, and they put a list together and the other person puts a list together. And then, you negotiate with, okay, every 10 times I do this, I get to on this side, right? So then there
Mhm.
becomes this, it becomes more fun.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that's that communication part. having fun with your partner, having fun with your family, having fun with your kids is what makes life enjoyable. And trust me, sometimes life is lifing, and you really have to find the happy parts of it, especially now. And you have to focus on some type of moral repair, whatever restorative justice you can get within your relationships at work, at home, in your romantic relationships, whatever you can do to make things work out, to find your happiness, to find your happy spot, you have to do it.
Yeah. I used to say, that's your siren.
Mhm.
I used to say, but it's the principle of it, right? I can't let this go because in principle, it's not right. And I've started to back off of that because everybody does the best that they can. So my biggest thing is if I've done something to you and you come at me, I deserve it. But if I've done nothing to you, why are you coming at me? Right?
Mhm.
But and I used to stand by that. And I had a big button, right, that could get pushed when that happened. But now that stress of the principle is not worth it because it's that whole, the drinking poison, expecting the other person to die. You're drinking the poison, or I hate this so much. I don't want to look at it. I don't want to look at you. So I'm going to gouge out my own eye.
Mhm.
Silly. I'm hurting
Absolutely.
myself by unforgiveness. I'm hurting myself by refusing to apologize. I'm hurting myself by standing by the principle. It's like, I can't change it, right? I can't change what you do and say, but I really can take responsibility for how I'm reacting. This is graduate school in life, folks. This is all part of my happiness process. Is you choose if you want to get your panties all in a tangle around this. So I say, intbot, it's not that big of a deal. Or I say, is this the hill I want to die on? Constantly.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we have to look at sometimes why recurring fights happen. Recurring fights are rarely about the surface issue. So we just have to focus on why, explain the pattern. What is the trigger? What's the interpretation, the emotional reaction, the practical response, why the partner is reacting to the protection, and why the loop is repeating.
Yeah. This is really harsh. I heard someone say, if you're being battered, right? The first time, shame on them. Second time, shame on you for staying. Now that's a very simplistic, oversimplistic model of why people stay in bad relationships. However, I think to speak to your point, it's if something is a constant, like cheating, right? If someone's constantly cheating with, and I'm sorry, I won't do it again. I'm sorry, I won't do it. Like, how many times you got to say sorry for cheating? So I absolutely think that, that level is not on them, it's on you. Why are you staying?
hmm I think it has been said that, and I don't know who said it, but I found this quote, and it says, "An apology without behavior change is just emotional theater."
Ooh, I like that. I am drama, therefore I am. I love that. So an apology without behavior change is emotional theater.
Theater,
Woo!
yes.
Yeah, yeah. That was we're gonna give a special on that one. Let's see what kind of uh, uh
Heartbeat,
I like
yes.
it. I like it. I really like that. Okay. Are you done with your research?
Well, one last thing.
Yeah.
One way to look at the nervous system and conflict is like this. When you have like a fight, you have this threat response. And when you have criticism, you feel like you're under attack. So sometimes you have to withdraw and it feels like this abandonment. So you have this whole cycle where you have this fight, flight, freeze in your relationship. And it doesn't matter if you're at work, if you're with your friends, or if you're in a romantic relationship. So you have this whole physiologic response. And so sometimes you can have this whole escalation and this roller coaster physiologic response. And so this is why some people shut down, and we can sometimes give them some space. But you need to apologize. And this can help you regulate this. So you need to slow down your breathing to help regulate this. Name the emotion that you're feeling and take some space, and not in an angry time. I think that's important.
Yeah, I've learned how to say, let me think about that when I'm just really mad. And I take a breath and I go, let me think about that. Or I'll say, I'm sorry, I have to take care of something. So that way I'm giving myself space, because usually when someone is on, this is the different styles in how you want to problem solve, or, you know, be able to do something. Usually one person in a partnership wants to address it right away. They don't like to sit in that discomfort of something unresolved. The other person is usually, this is the opposites attracting kind of thing. They need time. It's related to the Myers-Briggs J and P indices. So J is not judgmental, but judging. They are discerning. They are quick to make a decision, excuse me, because they don't like to leave things open. P's on the other side, like to leave things and don't want to make a clear decision right away. They want to look at all the, so that is applied to things like, you know, confrontations or disagreements, or something where one person thinks you should apologize and the other one's like, nah, right? So it's something to think about. If you are in a relationship and you haven't sat down and said, let's, you know, kind of make the rules. We're not always going to feel as lovey-dovey as we do now, but right now, can we agree on 2 minutes? Which is sort of like the middle of, one wants to resolve right away and the other one never wants to resolve. So these are some of the things that I do with my couples too.
And the psychologists say that there are situations in which they don't recommend you apologize. So when not to apologize.
I like this. Yeah.
So this is the important nuance.
This is my Bible.
Yes. Do not apologize for having needs. Don't apologize to avoid abandonment, and don't apologize for your partner's emotions. So it's important to differentiate between accountability versus self erasure.
Ooh, say that again.
So differentiate between accountability versus self erasure. So you are important. So don't diminish yourself for someone else.
I think that's what Scott was talking about earlier, the esteem thing. And what I was talking about when I'm saying sorry all the time, even when somebody else is the one that has done something to me. And that's what I've started to do, is like, if I catch myself saying sorry when it wasn't me, I'll say it out loud. Why am I saying I'm sorry? And then that person will go, oh, I'm sorry. Like in an elevator or something. So that is me standing up for me.
Yeah, because the goal of an apology isn't to win. It isn't. No, it's not to win. No, Dr. Marissa. And it isn't even to end the argument. It is to rebuild trust between you and the person. And trust isn't rebuilt with saying, I'm sorry. It's rebuilt with, I understand you.
Yeah. That's good. That's powerful. When people offend me, or they say, you know, it really bothers me when, or can I give you some feedback? I usually say, okay, but please try not to get it all over me. No, I'll say in my head so that I can receive it is they're only telling me this because they want a better relationship with me. They want to connect with me more so I don't see it as a threat or criticism or something I need to run from. It's just data about them and what they prefer, right? That for me works so that I'm not, fork you in the horse that you rode in on. But that could be my final word.
Well, I want to challenge the listeners to notice your own apology style and the apology style of the people you're around, and see if you can try a different apology style this week. And my final word is going to be, if you keep having the same fight, don't change the topic, change the pattern.
Nice. My final word is, I guess it's okay to have apology in my vocabulary. And it is a surefire way to be more connective instead of less connective. So I will vote for apologies without killing myself. Dr. Tiffany's like, my work is done. Oh, shut up. No, I'm kidding. I'm sorry. Oh, I hope you've enjoyed this as much as I have. You have been listening to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show with our very special series called Doctors in the House with myself and
Dr. Tiffanie Tate.
We have one last Cashew Gallery comment here. Good subject matter. Look forward to trying out my new apology skill set. That is fabulous. I love it when we have Cashew Gallery practice. That's fabulous, Scott. Thank you so much for playing with us this morning. You've been a very integral part of the conversation, and we'll look forward to seeing you every day this week, or for sure on Doctors in the House. It's all about balance. Peace in, peace out. World peace through inner peace. I love my life. I love this show. And Dr. Tiffany, take us out.
Now go and have the best day ever.